All right, class is in session. Got this one. I just came into my feed and wasn't expecting to do anything on it, but I did want to hear about it. And because the title of it is "How Social Media and Dating Apps Have Ruined Dating" or something like that. I'll give it to you in a second. But I was like, I want to hear someone's opinion. And and I already had a feeling that I wouldn't agree. That's fine. I'm not. There's no shade on this guy here. Seems like a real respectable guy, whatever. So I don't want. It's not about the person. I'm not attacking him. Not attacking. I'm attacking the idea, right? Just as I don't think he would expect to attack me, and he has every right to have an idea about me, right? This is just people discussing ideas. That's how Red Pill got created. Is men started discussing stuff on the internet and blogs and started sharing stuff like that. So and that's what we're doing here. So but I have to be measured on this because I'm very passionate and I'm very intense when I hear stuff that I believe is misguiding men. Men are already having a tough enough time, and and I'm not saying this guy, I'm saying other situations where someone might be grifting or someone has a wrong idea and they're calling it gospel, right? I mean, I have, and again, I've read, I've studied, and thought it over and thought it. Before I give out information, I want to verify. I want to, I never, and people can come correct me. I'm always, we're humans. We'll make errors, so that's why I'm like, I'm hearing some stuff here. I'm like, but I don't want to, but I want to correct the record that if anyone's watching this, right? Again, and people can believe what they want to believe, but I want those guys that, best practices, right? If some people think that they can get best practices by listening to his stuff, it's fine. But I'm gonna be, I'm gonna put my personal opinion in here and say, I think that if you follow my best practices, you'll be more successful. So let's listen to this. Let's learn how social media and dating apps have ruined dating, I guess. Let's see what is it? Hold on. How dating apps, social media ruin relationships. Okay. And I'll say right away. So he's allegedly coming in from outside. I get the phone. It looks kind of performative to me. Like he's and you're gonna kind of see throughout his video here. And his name is Doc Geo7. Is it? Yeah, Doc Geo7. So go subscribe to him and go see his stuff. Maybe he's got other stuff that's good. This just came in my feed, so I just learned about him. So, seems well spoken, and I like his style. But let's go ahead and listen to him.
So yo, another day. Yeah, just coming from outside.
I don't know if he just did that. He went outside and got, okay, I'm gonna come in. Okay, let's go.
Goddamn, handling business.
Handling business.
Got some shit on my mind, so figure I would make a video about it.
Okay.
Goddamn. Another day. But I'm finally home now, so let's do this. Once again, it's your friend, the twin with a bottle of gin and a thick skin.
Okay, right here. There's this sing-songy, rhymey, performing. That's why I say it looked like almost coming in from the outside. He was outside handling business, like, he was out, doing deals or what. He's been home all day. I'm not trying to go hard. I'm being kind of facetious. But then he's like bottles of gin. He's rhyming. This is performing. I'm just saying, it gives me a vibe. And it's not nothing bad on him, but it's like performing. Bottles of gin, the din. Just give us the information, man. All right. That's my. Okay, let's go.
And then your mama's favorite side piece and your sister.
Your mama's favorite side piece. Like already, like bro, for real. Like your mama's. Like this guy's some pimp out there, like banging every mama. That's kind of. I don't know if he's trying to be Mr. Rogue. I don't. Anyway.
Friend, is she mad?
Your sister's boyfriend, and she mad. Wait, I want to go through that again, and it's almost like you're trying to signal alpha, right? your mama side piece, and it's like you don't have to signal alpha. You just talk and tell, whatever. Let's hear that again.
Yeah, I'll make a video about it.
Got the sunglasses, yep.
Another day. But
and you'll notice, and again, I'm a police officer. Come from working in the hood. 22 years, I'm retired, but I keep saying that. But I work in the hood. Sometimes you gotta use vulgar language. I've been told before, hey, why you gotta cuss? And you're gonna see he's throwing in a lot of vulgarity, almost like he's trying to be more, authentic. I don't know, but anyway, let's listen to this little rap here.
Also, let's do this.
Let's do it. Rolling up the sleeves.
Once again, it's your friend, your twin with a bottle of gin and a thick skin, getting it in.
Twin, bottles of gin with the thick skin. Okay, getting it in.
Mama's favorite
side piece. Okay.
And your sister's boyfriend.
Your sister's boyfriend. Got it. Okay, upstanding guy.
And Doc G.
Okay, Doc G. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So I think that was like he's banging your sisters, he's banging your mama, like really, dog. Anyway, not impressed by that.
They wanted to really talk about how social media has separated how men and women, how it's completely ruined relationships. Saw a study recently,
okay,
and it said that by 2030, that the United States population, when it comes to like having enough children to keep the population going, if women don't start reproducing at higher rates and all of that shit, that the population is gonna go down significantly.
Okay, y'all. Please, everybody stay in your... Do not put the fire alarm on. Okay, I'm not saying his argument. I'm saying the fact of study. I'm here, like, this is almost a way to shame women into banging more, or banging more dudes, right? First of all, women don't care. They don't care about society's problems. They don't care about... They're not. I mean, it's not supposed to, and they're not going to, okay? So the fact that we're talking about this, like, well... I mean, yeah, I mean, and they're saying the replacement rate, But the only reason that makes a difference is because, you got Social Security, you got Medicare, and you need the younger guys to put in the funds for blah, 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 blah. Dude, y'all, this is going to take 1,000 years. I mean, so it starts in 2030. Women aren't even listening to this news anyway. They're not... Only guys that ain't getting banged, are worried about women not banging enough, like whatever, and having but, women don't care. And this ain't a problem for any of us, because this is going to take a long time to occur. So no one should really be worrying about that, and things may change, but the birth rate decline and all, I mean, yeah, that just it's a non-argument to me to a certain degree, because it's like, yeah, I mean, it's almost like I don't know if it's like, climate change. That's going to be like 800 years from now. Right? But anyway, let's go. Oh, by the way, I want to also add, there's a doctor. I wish I would have had that information before I did this. I forgot to get her name. Anyway, she's been on several podcasts. I'll try to find it, and I'll put it in the description. But she has basically said that we're going through a generational change. And she's an evolutionary psychologist, and she has said women are actually causing the decline of society, and this is a evolutionary thing over like hundreds of thousands of years, and we're in one of those cycles where women tend to in this one she's saying women are collapsing society will collapse in thousands of years. We're on the scale to collapse, and women are doing it by basically convincing other women not to have babies. That's the key. That was the key. I'll get her. I'll put it in this. I just remember that. I will put it in the description. But she was on. God, what? She's done several. I think Chris Williamson. And I'll find her. It's an awesome podcast. But basically, it's like like women, because of like these feminist rules, and this has been going on for like before feminism even started. Women are convincing other women not to have. Oh, I need to do a review on that. Not to have babies. This has nothing to do with feminism. It has everything to do with evolution, and I'll get more on that. But it's women doing it to women, and it has no, like, guys don't, and they're not doing it. They're not doing it. They don't even know they're doing it. Seriously, that was one of her conclusions. And yeah, so it's not feminism. It's not social media. It's none of that. I'm gonna find it, put it in the description, but and I'm gonna do a separate video on it as well. Let's go.
Women don't start doing all that by 2030 and all of that good shit. And it got me to thinking about why and how it's such.
Well, and I'm gonna say that lady's already talked about it. It has nothing to do with any red pill. Has nothing to do. It's been going on for thousands of anyway. So he's gonna be off on this, and that's from not researching enough, in my opinion. And I'm gonna say real quick. Go ahead. Let's go.
Divide between men and women now. Like, why do both sides hate each other so much?
We don't see, and that's, I think, a personal bias. And I think, shout out to Miles Cummings and Mr. Lucario. Your language exposes you. I don't hate women. I love them. I just talked to the best one I've ever met. And she's taking care of her mother, who's 98. She's in Mexico. Long story short, what she's doing right now, she's just killer freaking soldier for her mom, for me, dude. Women are freaking awesome, dude. Like, I love that. And the reason we're talking about this stuff is because we do love them. And we'll never stop loving them. And God gave us testosterone to love them. And I always say, air, water, food, sex, we love women. There's no hatred to them. It's only some guys who are frustrated, who think that they can talk women into being different, which you'll never do. Women will not change. You have to learn to play the game according to the rules of the game you're in. And you don't know the rules correctly. And it's not him, I'm just saying other guys. Let's go.
I'm really, at this point, starting to think that that a lot of this gender war bullshit, this just for some reason, is just like everywhere you look, it's just men going against women, women going against men, and all it.
Okay. He just called it gender war, but I didn't hear anything about a gender war. And men going against women, women going against, he said it's a gender war. Men going against women, women going against men, yes, that would be a gender war. And there's no concrete, like, it's happened. Where's this war happening? He's making this, these are made up facts by him.
To be honest, I contributed to some of that shit.
Okay, so there you go. Language exposes you. It shows that he has a frustration and a hatred for women. And these are the kind of guys who came into Red Pill with anger, rage, and hate on their mind because they're frustrated with the dating market. They're not having success in it. But like I said, dating is a you problem, and champions don't complain. And you figure out how to have more success in the game. And this is not a woman problem. This is a you problem. And you need, so it shows you that he's had some disdain and resentment for women, but it's not their fault. You shouldn't be warring with women. Just like women, if women would want us to change, like, why do you guys want to bang so much? You ain't gonna change us. We got testosterone, want to bang. Okay, I'm sorry. Why y'all want to bang on the first date? Because God gave us testosterone. We're not gonna change. Why do y'all not like us? Having high body count. God gave us. I don't know. We ain't gonna change. But and to a certain degree, I've realized that whatever. But why you guys get so jealous when we have guy friends? Like, we're not going to change. So as much as we want them to change, this is our biological nature. We're not changing either. Okay, let's go.
No better or whatever, and I was just speaking on my experience or whatever, but
exactly, lack of success usually.
About the overall picture. Look, we need
the Jeremy Meeks, the hot felon guy. I have a video on it. He married and he loves women. Like I talked about in that video. He talked about, anyway. And he married a billionaire heiress, You think he's out here talking about gender wars? No.
But for some reason, this stupid gender war shit has been pushed to the fuck.
Has anybody declared the gender war? Like, where has this been declared? What body? What law-abiding body has declared a gender war? I don't know of any law-abiding. No, I don't. No. It's yeah. Anyway.
Passes. Because to be honest, I think that it's a distraction. I think it's a distraction.
Here comes a Matrix conspiracy. These are ridiculous. Let's go.
For us as a people all together. I think personally, I think about things like who's pushing this narrative? Who has control over the narrative?
What narrative? What narrative are you talking about? That men hate women? That's a false narrative that I think men love women. If I were to bring you a beautiful woman right now and say, hey, you want her? Yeah. So you don't hate her. Okay, go ahead. But who's pushing the agenda? This fake agenda you're making up? I don't.
Of the masses. Now think about shit like the United States government.
Oh, here we go.
Makes more money off of single people because we don't have to.
I mean, listen to this though. Dude, the United States government has billions and billions and billions and it's so, you think they care about making an extra billion? To have a gender war, and they don't. And they're not that I worked for the Houston Police Department, like I said, 22 years. It's government. I see how government runs. I've dealt with the FBI, the Drug Enforcement Administration. We deal in the police department. You work in the government. You see how other government agencies work. And they're all kind of inept, okay, to a little bit, they're all this bureaucracy, and they work good to a certain degree on, it's hard to describe. I don't want to say they're bad, but they're not doing they're not doing like NASA. Like NASA is now what SpaceX is like private companies doing whatever. My point is that this is a cabal that they secretly are doing this stuff, and he's going to mention the CIA, anyway, no, the United States government is not this coordinated to pull this one over, to create a gender war, so we all didn't notice, or we all pay more taxes, because here's the deal. They just like they say, governments are basically have unending resources because there'll always be people, and there'll always be people paying their taxes. So they'll never be broke, what I'm saying. So anyway, no, they didn't, let's do that. No, they did not. They don't care about single, married, no. We've done this to ourselves.
We don't get those tax breaks that families get. If you're in a family unit, you get bigger tax breaks. But if
you talk about tax breaks, you're talking dude, this is not enough money for anyone to care. This is a loser argument right here, guys.
For people that are single, guess what? That's more individual streams of income that the United States government.
Something for us not to. Okay, so gentlemen, men, something for us not to worry about for 2000, Alex. No, here's what. Because if we worried about all this he's distracting us. If we're worried about all that, you're not worried about getting your money in your muscles, and not even, I wouldn't say money. Get your looks maxing going on. Get your mindset right. Get out there, start talking to women. Get out in the wild, start talking, touch grass. Join some groups, get social, and start talking to ladies. Who cares about who did this and who did? If you're single, get unsingle, okay? And you have the power to do that. You have the power to change your style. I've talked about your hairstyle, your colognes, get some books. Atomic Attraction. It's a great book. Just put in a book search. Great book for how to get more attractive, okay? But you don't need to worry about all this cabal, matrix, who's doing it, Congress, Senate. That's a waste of your time and resources.
Tax people. I would not be surprised if the United States government, the CIA,
ooh, there we go.
all people,
CIA. He wouldn't be surprised, but he has no information.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So that's how conspiracy theorists like to do it. So who was driving the van? Well, you don't know either, so that's right. No one knows.
If these motherfuckers pushed this gender war bullshit.
No, they didn't. There's no
Because
whatever.
you know how much money there is to make,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when it comes to separating men and women and families.
Oh, come on. The government don't care enough. It's not that they care. It's not that they care. It's that they just don't care. Dude, the governments are so non-feeling agencies. Oh, let's make some more money. No, oh God.
I mean,
They
keep
tax
in
us
mind,
more.
like,
Those tax us more.
women are the biggest consumers. Single women specifically are the biggest consumers.
Who cares? No, they don't. The government doesn't care. They really don't.
You think that the higher ups, the people that control this motherfucking society, you think they don't know that?
Yeah,
you think they ain't doing something about that? They's like,
no, they don't care enough, and they're not coordinated enough to do that. And if you go look at the IRS, I have a friend that works for the IRS. It's huge, and they're not going into meetings going, God, we made an extra $1 billion, $1 billion on like $1 trillion budget. Like, come on, dude, this is.
the single, so we can sell all this shit to them.
No, that's his fault, dude. Who cares? And it doesn't matter anyway.
Same thing with men. I mean, you know, yeah, let's keep them single too, so they can work, you know, so they can do this and that and motherfucking consume this and.
No,
it's fucked up.
No, it's not.
Is what I'm trying to say.
This is negative. Champions don't complain. This is negative Nancy attitude. Okay, you know you're never gonna solve any of your problems by being negative Nancy. Okay, you play the game by the rules by the situation you're in. Okay, if it's if you're playing football, everyone knows football, and your punt returner drop the ball at the 1 yard line, and there you are now at the 1 yard line. You don't complain. God dang it! But Tom Brady would not come. Well, we're at the 1 yard line. What the heck? No, you're at the 1 yard line. We got to set up our offense like this, and you work your way down the field. And you go score a touchdown. In the beginning you got to protect your quarterback. Don't let him get touched. And now once we get down into the 30-yard line, now we can start putting our quarterback into a shotgun, and we're gonna start throwing. My point is that you're gonna develop different strategies in different situations. So right now, whatever the situation is, and I said this. Let me give a solution. So I'm not just looks max, because now you're in a unregulated dating environment, right? Or your dating market. Sorry, you're in an unregulated dating market. So people can just basically date whoever they want, as long as you're consenting. You date whoever you want. So women are dating alpha bangs. They're dating hot dudes. Okay, so that's why I keep saying get in the gym, get jacked, looks max. That's why do you think clavicular is getting so big right now? Because what he does works. As much as people want to hate on him, taking steroids, it works. Okay?
I mean, hell, it's a reason why J.D. Rockefeller invested into the
Here we go.
movement.
Who cares? No, we don't.
J.D. Rockefeller
Is that going to get you a girlfriend? Is this information that J.D. Rockefeller? Who cares? The feminist movement happened, and we're dealing with it now. Whatever. But let's act accordingly. Is this worried about JD died? Oh, he did. Oh, what? Does that change that the feminist movement happened? Does that change you jerking your dick off one more day? It doesn't. We want you to start putting your D into a vajayjay or hoo-ha. So let's not worry about JD Rockefeller. Let's worry about getting your D in a hoo-ha. Let's work on those strategies.
People on Earth was a huge investor in feminism. Why? Not because he liked women. It's because he saw where this shit was going, which is where it is today.
What? Whoa!
Certain companies are making a killing off of selling to single people.
And grifters are making a killing off of giving poor advice and negative Nancy advice and conspiracy theory advice to young men, and leaving them resentful and feeling less hope for success. Grifters are doing a lot of that on the internet to make money.
Let's just keep that shit a whole 100,
Oh, I did.
So I'm just saying, man. Like,
What?
it's getting old. All of this men versus women, women versus men shit.
What are you talking? What is he? I don't see any. Who cares? Who cares? I don't. I mean, I don't go member. No, man.
Whatever happened to the nuclear family, or just the sense of?
All right, so this is gonna be a good time for me to kind of, enlighten some people. Okay, I hear this all the time. What happened? What happened? Why does it? The 1950s. Let's go back to the 1950s. Okay, and I can try to read. Okay, so one of my favorite books is the autobiography of Malcolm X. Okay, and I wrote this down. And Malcolm X in 1940, I think it was 1943 or 44. So he said he learned more from prostitutes than he did from any other woman. Okay, because Malcolm X, they call him a steer. He basically was a pimp, but he allegedly, like, men would come to him when they come to Harlem, and he would say, you want a BJ, that girl over there. You want handy, that girl over there. He didn't have any really girls working for him, but he was working around them. Okay, and he would talk to them, and they would talk about men, and women would talk about women. And he said the prostitutes taught him about them, And so let me read this about Malcolm X, and this is in 1944. So people say, we need to return to 1944. We need to, get the, what happened to the nuclear family. So this is a quote from autobiographies about Malcolm X. Malcolm X was red pill before red pill. Listen to this. It was these working prostitutes that schooled me on things that every wife and husband should know. Later on, it was let's see, we're trying to read my writing. It was I can't read it. It was the women who okay, here we go. Later on, it was the women who weren't prostitutes who taught me to be very distrustful of most women. There seemed to be a higher code of ethics, sisterliness among these prostitutes. Let's see. Then among numerous ladies of the church who have more men for kicks than prostitutes have for pay. And and all right, let's move on. But and it doesn't matter if they're black or white women. Okay, so race didn't matter. So basically, I said, the church women. We see this now, 304s. Well, apparently Malcolm X is saying back then the church ladies had more men for kicks than the prostitutes have for pay. What's that say? This whole 304 thing didn't just begin. This is in 1944. Many of the black ones in those, in the wartime days were right. Instead, with the white ones, husbands fighting overseas while they were laying up with other men. So the white dudes that were overseas had their chicks laying up with other men. Oh my God, 304s before 1950, y'all. Okay, let's see. This is straight from Malcolm X's mouth, but it's autobiography. Okay, even giving them their husbands money. Women were giving, their men are fighting in World War II overseas, and they were giving the men their husbands money that they were laying up with. Wow. This didn't just happen, y'all. Okay. And many women faked as mothers and wives while playing the field as hard as prostitutes with their husbands, uh, with their husbands right there in New York. Oh, so basically, it's saying, the other ladies were doing it, and their husbands weren't even overseas. Oh my God! So basically, 304s didn't just begin. Okay, I got. Let's see. Sorry, but okay. Here we go. This is called the morning rush. Listen to this. Some red pill. The morning rush. Seeing the hallways and stairs is busy any hour of the day or night with white or blacks, men coming and going was no more than one would expect when one. Basically, he's talking about people white guys and black guys coming and going from his building where there's prostitutes. Okay, so people are in and out all the time. Men are coming in here, man, banging a prostitute there and leaving. A black guy comes in, a white guy comes in. So you just got men in and out, right? So he's not a big deal. But here we go. But what astonished Malcolm X was the full house crowd that rushed in at 7:30 in the morning, on Monday, then rushed right out at 9 a.m. So, so they're coming in. The morning rush for the prostitutes are 7:30, and they're getting out at 9 a.m. I would be the only man in the house after 9 a.m. It was husbands who had left home in time to stop by this St. Nicholas property. I guess in Harlem, right? Okay, here we go. Before they went into work. So white guys are coming in basically kind of from the suburbs. I think it's downtown. That was a suburb back then. I don't know. But we're just, these are white guys coming in from the suburbs, more called the morning rush, and coming to see some prostitutes at 7:30 a.m. and then heading out at 9, okay, in his building. Okay, calls it the rush. On to work of some, not the same ones every day, but it was enough of them to make the rush, and it included white men that had one, let's see, that had once was of, so they coming in from downtown, all right. Who had just so he's saying the guys are coming downtown. So basically these white guys are coming in from basically the suburbs because the men had just about been psychologically castrated by their wives. They were psychologically castrated by the husbands were responsible for the early rush. Okay, so they've been psychologically castrated by their wives, is what he's saying. That's red pill. Okay, this isn't the night your grandmama was better. No, your grandmama is psychologically castrating your granddaddy, and he was going to Harlem banging black prostitutes. These are white. This is not me making it up. Okay, for the early rush, these wives so they were so rude, and it had made their men so tense that they were robbed of their of their ego, basically. Okay, and to ensure that they lost this tension, they would come down to see the prostitutes. So their wives were creating so much drama and stress that these men are coming down, and seeing these prostitutes, and the chance of let's see, and they didn't mind, like, they even the risk of ridicule by his own wife, but going to see the prostitute. Each of these men had gotten up early to come to a prostitute. The prostitutes had to make it their business. So the prostitutes are making it their business to be students of men. Okay, and this is what he's kind of saying is that, and I do say this, is that women are not students of men now, because they don't have to be. There's a D everywhere. I would say that will be, but this was happening in 1944. Okay, so the prostitutes were students of men, but their wives didn't care because they got that marriage contract. Okay, so they make it the business to be a student of the men. They said that after most men past their virile 20s, so prostitutes are saying after most men past their virile 20s, they went to bed mainly to increase their egos, to boost their egos, is what the prostitutes said. It was their egos, and it was of women to, and it was the job of the women to understand. It was the women needed to understand this, that men needed to have sex because it boosts their egos, and it's true. When men are, I've said this before in my other videos, watch it. When men are sexless, they're seen as losers, incels, losers. Men who can't have sex are seen as losers, right? And let's see. It was, okay, got women don't understand it. The women, okay, so the women don't understand it, that they damage and they damage their man. So the prostitutes are saying they don't understand that these wives are damaging their husband's ego, and they need to change. They need to learn this. This is what he's saying in 1944. You think things changed? No matter how much little virality a man has to offer, prostitutes made him feel for at that time that he is the greatest man in the world. See what sex does to a man? These prostitutes made him feel like look at you go, you bad boy, you good job. This is why. This is the word of these prostitutes, right? Okay. So this is why they had the morning rush, because their men's ego, they wanted to feel that awesomeness of getting banged. Okay. They had more business. Let's see. They had more business to keep. Okay, so it said. Okay, so more wives could keep their husbands if they realized their greatest urge is to be men. Yeah, their greatest urge is to be men. Those women would tell me. And most men, the prostitutes, few wives, too easily. Okay, so sorry, I'm trying to read my writing. The prostitute said men were too easily pushed around. We talk about this. This is what the prostitute said. The wives said that the men are too easily pushed around. That's what the prostitute said. Every day, these prostitutes heard nothing but complaining about their women, and they were taken care. So these guys said they didn't hear anything but complaining from the women that these men were taking care of and given everything. The prostitutes said most men need to know what. So basically, what the pimps knew. Most men need to know what the pimps knew. Okay, a woman should be babied enough to show her that men have affection, but beyond that, She should be treated firmly. These tough women said that it worked for them. So baby them a little bit, show them a little affection. But even the prostitutes who are hardcore said, but you need to treat us firmly, like the pimps. Okay? We respond to that firmness and that strength. Okay? And let's see. And all women are okay. Here, well, look out. All women are vulnerable by their nature, and they're the fragile, and they're fragile, and they were let's see. Basically, okay, so yeah, women are fragile, and that they are attracted to the man that she sees strength in. There you go. This is Malcolm X. I'm sorry but that's Malcolm X. That's in 1944. Let me get my, so this whole gender war and this whole, sorry, I gotta get my nice thing. All right, let's keep going, but look at that. I'm gonna try to make it shorter, but dude, that's Malcolm X. I'll do a better one on that. My writing, but that took forever to write, by the way. So, but you heard it right there. In 1944 or 43, when this is World War II, you got guys coming from the suburbs, white guys going and having sex from 7:30 to 9 a.m. because they're being browbeat by their wives. This is nothing new. And how many times we go, what do you want to do? Return to 1950? Well, this was before 1950, and in 1950, this stuff's still going on. This has been a problem of men not standing up to their wives, and let me real quick, why is this happening? Because 80% of men are beta males. So if we say 80% of men are beta males, then only 20% of men should have women. But what percentage have women? What percentage of men have sex? Totally, like maybe 60% or whatever. That's way too many. That's why so many, anyway, that's the problem.
Or the sense of people being together. Social media has killed the nuclear family. Social media has killed.
Do you think going and seeing prostitutes in Harlem in 1944, just because he hid it better, that's killing the nuclear family. What's killing the nuclear family is weak men getting, like Malcolm X said here, weak men getting pushed around and not standing up and not acting like pimps and being firm with these ladies. Men getting browbeated and castrated, and their egos being their dicks being kicked in the dirt because they're in a sexless marriage. What have I said about that? I've said this on my channel already. That's soul crushing, and it ruined men's egos. Are get a boost from having sex.
The sense of community amongst men and women, and hell,
this ain't new, bro.
Too. Social media has killed that.
No.
And yes, I wrote a list of
here we go.
The multiple factors that come into play when it comes to social media and the powers that be killing the bond between men and women for the most part on a massive scale.
So what did I just read in the Malcolm X thing? No. I read that women were banging other guys while the other guys were off to war. The church girls had more sex than the prostitutes. I mean, this didn't just happen. Anyway, let's go.
Let's talk about the dating apps.
It looked like women don't have problem with sex. Like, they get a lot of it. They always, look what I just read. Church girls are doing more. Anyway.
Take away complete originality from a person, from an individual. You swipe left, you swipe right. And you're doing this mainly based off of looks. Let's keep it real.
Hey, that's how we choose mates. Looks. I don't know what people think. Whether we have a dating app in front of us, what the dating apps did is allowed women access to the top 5%. And it skewed more, and the average guys, whatever. It just skewed more. When you're seeing hot guys, and the hot guys are willing to bang, yeah, it just skewed, it had nothing, that's what it has to do with. Women were given access to hot men, and they're gonna bang hot men. They're not gonna change them. That's it.
And women are doing it based off of a combination of looks and money, mainly money. If they see
No. Looks and money? No. No. If they're on a dating app, how many they're hookups. They don't women are banging Alpha Chad. Alpha Chad don't have money. This is what this guy doesn't understand. Pookie and Ray Ray, dude, they're banging guys with mattresses on the floor. Dude, listen to all those TikToks. They're all talking about banging Alpha Chad. They don't, unless they're trying to get married. Now, there are beta male predators. They are beta male predators apps. Yes, they are, all of them. But that's not, anyway.
affluence, then they're gonna,
And this is big. I see this big, and it's all but I see this bigger in the black sector of the red pill. Is that money is, I don't know, like they're really big into resources. With women, I don't know.
that guy more likely than not. So what dating apps do, dating apps give you an illusion of choice. The market is over flooded, basically.
No, listen. It gives women the illusion of choice. Most average men had no choices. Only like 5%. They only swiped up. Only the top 5% or whatever got any action. Everybody else had no. At least with men, they had no choices. Go ask men. I did all those studies. Like, remember Alexander. I think it's Alexander Grace. They've had several fields where they've done. Women have acted like the men. They had a man's picture and they're like, I'm swiping all these ladies and I'm trying to have conversations and no one's talking to me. No, the illusion of no choice with men. And yeah, the women losing a choice for women maybe.
And only certain people at the top of the motherfucking chain that look.
But here's the thing: what ruined dating apps was women taking men on foodie dates, having too much leverage, and men realizing that some get taken on foodie dates and some men get to bang right away. Men started realizing this off of dating apps, right? And so men walked away, and men don't trust women, so they're not taking women out on dates, and women kept getting banged and left, pumped and dumped, the pumped and dump system. And so now women are fearful, and they're tired. Women are literally exhausted from the pump and dump. They don't need any more casual one-day sex. That's the problem. They're exhausted. And so why do you think you see on every dating app and I need connection, I need to take me on a proper date. Go look at a woman's dating apps today and 5 years 10 years from today, 10 years prior, right? You would probably see stuff about, they'd be, I went to Safari, and now they're like, take me around the city. I'm a God-fearing woman, meaning don't try to bang me on the first date. Take me around the city, meaning I'm bored, I need something to do, take me on a date. Please don't just bang me and leave me. I like food, concerts, take me out, I'm bored. Alpha Chad, don't take me anywhere. Let's go.
When you got a certain amount of money or certain girls at the top of the chain, well, let's keep it real. Down there, any girl can get some dick.
But that's before dating apps. Look, I just read this, and this is okay. But this right here is envy. It's sex envy. But there's a blind spot here because, what guys don't understand is women, because they can get sex so easy, most of it's trash. So women don't see getting sex or whatever, like they're very they don't see it as a plus. They're like, but guys are like, oh my God, you're gonna bang 10 guys that week. Women are like, but they're all trash. We're like, so what? See, it's a blind spot.
Motherfuckers are swiping left and swiping right, basically. And we get reduced from being a person to being an object.
We're always an object in the sexual marketplace. Everybody is. That's a product over there. It's not until you get to know somebody and develop a relationship with them. We're all objects.
Gross, like some groceries or some shit.
And women love
swiped on.
And here's the thing.
You're a human being.
Women, you're in what? This is crazy. You're in a dating market. You're in a market, and you're selling yourself. Like, well, I want to know what that product is. What Yeah, I like the shirt of that product. I like the package or what. I mean, no, we're human beings. So what? They want a good product.
We are not meant to be placed in a box.
Yes, we
to
are.
be swiped on.
Well, hold on. Okay, if you go to a club, the hot guys, whoever, there's a dominance hierarchy there. This is ridiculous. This is some simp ass. No, you are. Like wherever you go, you're being placed. You're on display in a club environment. If you were on a singles event, the girls are going to be talking to the hot guys and the higher status guys. It's life. Like what is he talking about?
But this is part of the problem. And when you put people into a box like that, you have crazy, unrealistic expectations.
No, what happened is when you put hot guys in front of a woman, what's she gonna do? She's gonna want that guy, 6 foot hot guy. The better when we didn't have dating apps and the sexual marketplace was not global, and it was just, let's say I lived in let's say I live in Bastrop, Texas, and at that time was small. A woman would only see certain men, and so Bob on Second Street, he's pretty hot. Oh man, so he didn't have to be super hot. Now Bob's got to compete with Larry in Chicago because he can fly her out, and so now you're in a globalized sexual marketplace. So you got a lot more competition. So you have to get better. I mean, that's what's going on.
And you think that you're better than what you really are. And this goes for men.
No, it does. Men? No way. No, it doesn't go for men. No, men on dating apps, it's mentally crushing because they're getting browbeat by women who have all the leverage, and men aren't getting any matches. And the matches they do get are cave trolls, and those ladies are talking crap to them and saying, "Oh, all you want sex," and they're like, "Well, yeah, I haven't had it in like 6 months." It's a mentally draining experience for men. I'm just gonna go a little longer, but I'm gonna head to do a part 2.
Mad as fuck. You could be mad as fuck as a woman. You could be broke as
mid, whatever. But men our standards aren't as high as far as like mid, whatever. This whole mid thing.
A man, but fucking still think you goddamn cream of the crop because social media got you thinking that you got all these options.
I mean, I did well on dating apps, but I never felt overly. I mean, at one point I did kind of, but like my Instagram and I don't feel like I have all. No, men don't, women do. I mean,
you really got less options than you think. So that's the one thing, dating apps. It gives you an illusion of choice.
No, women have lots of choice. They have lots of choice for sex. They don't have a lot of choice for relations. Most women don't have a lot. On dating apps, what happened was women were not able to keep the men that they wanted to keep, and they didn't want to keep the men that wanted to keep them. That was the problem with women. And men weren't having any success, really.
And it gives you too many options. And you can't find real love or real partnership through an app for the most.
90% of relationships were found through dating apps from 2008 to now. Now they're doing it crapper. But dating apps became the number one way women people met and got married. It overtook the bar scene a couple years ago. But yeah, no, I mean, this is all false.
For the most part, you might get lucky. Some people got lucky, and you might find your person. But for the most part, dating apps aren't good for nothing but hookups. For the most part.
Now, well, for certain people, right? Yeah, I mean, they were for quick, easy sex. Yeah.
So there's that dating apps. Then you got podcasts and influencers.
Like here.
Let's really talk about that.
False.
I've never considered myself an influencer. I make YouTube videos, but I never never in my life will claim that I have influence over any.
Well, I hope not, because this is I mean, I don't want to go hard, but this is bad information, and I don't want guys following it. That's all, and it's not on him. I think we could have a conversation, and maybe but he's a good guy. I see he's a good guy. It's just I don't like this information, and I don't want men to be resentful and this kind of depressed. I'm gonna go just a little longer, and I'm gonna do a part 2.
Life, and I never want that. You know, so as far as influencers go, yes, they. You got these people like Shira7, or Chrissy or whoever, and they'll get online and they'll say, "Well, get as much money as you can from a man. If he ain't got no money, he ain't shit." A man.
Well, because 80% of men are beta males, so they got to bring extra. 80, if you're not going to be in the top 20, if you're not going to get jacked, if you're not going to get to the gym, and you're going to use they may say it to women, but the simps are doing it. We complain about OnlyFans. Well, it's not the girl's fault. Who's subscribing? I've never given 1 cent to OnlyFans. Someone's subscribing a lot to the millions. So it's men's fault for the supply or the demand. Sorry, the demand.
Basically, only good is his pockets and all of that shit. And then you got
because I've said this before. Go look at because men are using that as a mating strategy, and men have decided that swiping your credit card to get a lady is much easier than going and changing, getting jacked, doing the looks maxing, getting your mindset right, finding out what your insecurities are, finding out what your false beliefs are, finding out what your confirmation biases are, and having a strong enough security about yourself to look at yourself and be able to criticize yourself and change. That's hard, but it's easy to go swipe a credit card and buy her shit.
Red pill, which is what I've been part of for a while.
This is not red. This is not red pill at all. Nothing of what he says red pill, and it shows that this is what happened. This is why nobody wants to claim red pill, because of guys like this who were negative, who claim there's gender wars. The red pill has never said anything about gender wars. What Rollo Tomasi, who is the godfather of the red pill, who wrote the Bible of the red pill, arguably says that we don't, we're not in the red pill or manosphere to hate women. We're in the manosphere so that we don't hate them, or we don't hate them for what they never can be to us. This is not to understand their nature, understand the nature of women, understand the nature of the world, the truth of the world. That's what that's why in the Matrix, the red pill is. He's like, I'm here to show you the truth and nothing more. That's a line from the Matrix. The truth and nothing more, not this. I mean, this has been doom and gloom the whole time.
And then you got black pill. I mean, red.
And what he's been describing is black pill almost. Gender war, birth rates are going down. That's not red pill. That's not red pill. That's the negativity is. Black pill basically says it's over. Don't even try. And that's why I'm getting a vibe I'm getting here.
Basically,
red pill's a praxeology that when men came together, they found out that there's alpha widows, that don't have spin plates, you need options, so that gives you leverage. There's no soulmates. It gave you best practices. And it was men getting together, sharing notes to have the best practices. None of what he's talked about is red pill.
Basically, you a man. Just go out there and be the best man you could be.
That's not what red pill says. No, that's not what be a man and go out. He just said red pill is be a man. What I just to say? No, be a man and go out and be the best man? No, that's not red pill at all. That's not red pill at all.
I don't see nothing too wrong with red pill.
There's nothing at all wrong with red pill. He has zero. And this is why, guys. I'm telling you, I've been in red pill way longer than this guy, and guys like this are the exact reason why everybody stopped claiming red pill, because of hate, because of this bad energy this guy's bringing, and lack of knowledge of it.
Pill is where I see like a huge problem.
Black pill, all black pill says is women want Chad, and if you're not Chad, it's over. He sees a huge problem with it. Well, they're not totally wrong though. That's where the looks vaccine came from, the black pill, because they want women. And in the black pill, they talk about how